Welcome to another live meditation hour. And as usual, we're gonna be meditating for an hour. And for the past 30 minutes or so, I've been trying to set up, this all environment. And to be honest, like it's a painful. I mean, the place I live in at the moment is really quiet, really good, really spacious. However, from my live streaming equipment side, like it's not ideal. I mean, I was just testing out different backgrounds, and I didn't find an ideal background. And on top of that, there is something going on out there. So there's random noise, music, and whatnot. So uh, ideally, I would like to have a place which is like dead quiet, and I'm wish I had that setup where it's I can have like a multiple um, backgrounds in that studio, and one of those would be for meditation. And one of the things which I would love to do would be to sort of have a studio with different screens, and then play out like different environment while I'm meditating. In the sense, like imagine if there is a screen behind me, or green screen does work that way too. But I wish like there is like a giant screen, like a covered with a covering the entire wall, like a simulation of a sort, simulation room from like various sci-fi shows, if you've seen that. And that would be ideal. Then I could just change the background to maybe like a forest, or maybe like mountaintop, or somewhere near ocean, or hilltop, or who knows. Like there are so many different views I can change it to. And obviously, the perfect thing to do would be to actually go to those places and sit in there and meditate, and live stream from there. That would be awesome. If I get to that place, that would be great. I mean, um, it's it's painful to get to that place for sure. At least from where I am right now, because I have so many obligations, so many responsibilities. But I can totally imagine myself, um, setting up this whole process where I can travel from one city to other, and one natural spot to other, and uh, just with meditate in different environments. And probably that, who knows, like if there's a movement of some sort, or if I end up creating a movement of sort where people can just come in for a meetup for an hour, and um, just sit in and meditate. That's it. And just we can just live stream it, so that everyone can participate, right? So that would be perfect, right? Like once a week, on a particular day, particular time, uh, in different locations with different people, just gathering together for a hour long meditation, and have different conversations following that, or something on that line. That would be amazing. But I don't have that at the moment. So this is my studio, sort of. Honestly, like this background was bothering me. I mean, it's not ideal, uh, for obvious reasons. Um, I would rather prefer like a plain background than something like this. Or if this was like completely black, the tiles were like darker color, and there wasn't that like whatever shiny coat uh, on that metal, it would still be okay. It would still look good, but that's not what I have. Gotta deal with what you got, and that's true for everything in life, right? Right, like you want something, but you may not have that at the moment. Instead of like stressing over or being agitated that you don't have something, you can just embrace it and be like, okay, this is what I have, and I'm gonna make the best use of what I got. And that's what I intend to do. Keep on working on this, and hopefully, over the next few months or years, I gain enough support from the community, the online community, that I would be able to, use that support or leverage that support and create a studio where people can come in and we can sit and meditate, or as well as I want to bring in different people I want to talk with and have long conversations. I mean, this is clearly inspired by the existing podcasters such as Joe Rogan, Tim Ferriss, to name a couple. Um, but I love that long format. Just to sit in with someone and have a conversation for maybe like 2 to 3 hours, just bounce from one topic to other, because everyone processes the same information differently, and it's super helpful to see the world from someone else's point of view. uh, Plenty of times, not plenty of times, almost all the times, I learn something out of it. um, just And at the very least, just looking at the thing from looking at the object from different angles, and understanding if I'm viewing it from my own bias. Like, for instance, for any policy, I have my biases. I have my based on my previous experience and based on where I see the society will evolve. I clearly have an opinion about that particular policy, but at the same time, every person is coming from their own biases as well. So I would like to have different people in the studio and have conversation around different policies to understand where they're coming from and how they look at the world. And I know I have a long way to go. I and I got a feeling that I will. I don't know how long it's gonna take, but this all gonna happen. I know that for sure. I don't know about, like, traveling and meditating in different venues, but I know for sure that I'm gonna create a studio and at least bring in people and have a conversations around that. And ideally, a studio with different backgrounds so that I can use that for meditation as well. Uh, and meditation is kind of tricky too, because you want to meditate in solitude. It's At times it helps to meditate in group. Plenty of times it helps because you can feel the energy in the room. You can feel uh, that other people are meditating, so that inspire you to prolong your meditation. Because back when I went to attend a retreat, that's exactly what happened. I was meditating for anywhere between 8 to 11 hours a day for 10 days. And whenever I feel less motivated, I just got out of my bed, or got out from my room, and or a trailer room, whatever, and then go to the meditation hall, because there were always like at least 4 or 5 people there. So once I'm in there, my attitude kind of changed. I can just sit in there and was able to kind of get into that meditative flow. Um, Even though I want to go back to that tender retreat, but it's super difficult right now. I mean, obviously, because of COVID, they are taking precautions and not filling in, all the spots. And on the second end, I need to take time off to, go for a 10-day retreat. So both of those things are conflicting right now. But who knows? Like, maybe some doors will open up, and I will end up like going to the 10-day retreat once again, and experience the bliss and the wisdom which I learned during my past session. And at the very least, what I could do is, like, meditate at my place, which exactly what I'm doing. Although I do have to create a particular schedule. I mean, maybe 10 or 12 months back, I was meditating on a particular time. or maybe it wasn't 10 or 12 months back, maybe like 4 or 5 months back. I was meditating at 5 p.m. Every single day. So that kind of helped to kind of that kind of set a trigger. So whenever it's 5 p.m., you gotta go and meditate. So there is no choice in that. So that helps. I know I can go back to that, but at the moment there are a lot of things going on in my life which is conflicting, and honestly, that's my fault. It's my responsibility. There is no excuse to still not be able to sit at 5 p.m. and meditate. So that's I guess, a reminder that I gotta revisit that and figure out my daily schedule to kind of or tweak my daily schedule to create that ritual of meditating at 5 p.m. every day. But yeah, with that note, I guess I'm gonna get started with today's meditation, and like always, I'm gonna meditate using Vipassana technique. And if you're not familiar with Vipassana technique, it's very straightforward. All you need to do is like just find a quiet place, or you could even meditate it in the noisy places. But find a place where you're comfortable and sit in, and just close your eyes and observe your natural breath. So this is the very innate quality of Vipassana, because you're not adding any energy, any thought, any feeling to uh, whatever is going on within you. So you're just being an observer and observing your emotional state, your uh, sensations within your body and whatnot, like whatever is emerging out of your body. So that's why I kind of think that Vipassana is super strong method, because essentially you are doing nothing. You're in all the other meditation practices, you're either visualizing, or you're chanting, or you're actively breathing, or you're adding energy to it. But Vipassana is the only meditation practice where you're just setting in and observing. That's it. You're not doing anything. So, and as a lazy ass, I mean, obviously Vipassana is my favorite technique, go-to technique as well, because I can meditate anywhere. I meditated in plane, while traveling. I meditated in car. I would say more like mindfulness instead of meditation, because I have my eyes open. But I've meditated in bed. I meditated even on toilet. So there is no place where you can't meditate, and it's more dependent on the environment at that time, because if you're surrounded in a noisy environment, then it's gonna take a while to tap into that meditative flow state, whereas if you're in a quieter environment, it would be easier. And at the same time, we are living in this weird time where we are constantly bombarded with data, with information, with you know whatever you want to name it, like just we constantly consume so many different uh, things right now, that it becomes painful to stop the brain, or stop the mind from thinking. And that's essentially what meditation is, right? Like you start focusing on a breath, and whenever your mind deviate and go to different places, which it does all the time, you're consciously bringing it back to your breath. So it's easier when you do it in silence or in a quieter place, because then you don't have like other distractions which is eating away your focus. And also at the same time, just sitting in silence can act as a reset for your mind and body. I mean, uh, just sitting in for a prolonged amount of time, and just observing the sensations within my body, surprisingly, I feel more energized after coming out of that meditative state. Otherwise, normally you would see, like, if you're just sitting on the couch, you might just be more lazy, or you just sink into the couch. But with meditation, more than often, I come out more rejuvenated, and it helps me to kind of reset my mindset for that day, particular day. So whenever I'm, say, uh, uh, flunking on some of the things which I should be doing, after meditation, I observe that I am able to do it like more easily. In the sense, like there is lesser resistant, there is lesser resistance in order to do whatever the task I have to do. So meditation helped to kind of detox, basically detox all the constant stimulation which is bombarded to our senses. So I'm gonna set an alarm for an hour and get into this hour-long meditation.